Coach, just your thoughts on that fourth quarter and how things got turned around.
Yeah, it was much better. You know, it was the first and fourth, 34-19 in the first, 35-19 in the fourth. Didn't get many stops in between, but started the game the way we intended to, and were able to close.
What do you take away from that? It could have been a nail-biter, you know, a couple-point victory, but to win by double digits, you know, to make a little bit of a statement, do you feel? How do you look at it?
You know, of course, we as coaches, we're happy to win the game in any way it takes, but we also want to get better. So gave up a lot of points there in the second and third quarter, and we're going to look at ways we can improve.
I got two just to start. Shorter rotation tonight, just what was your reasoning behind that?
Must-win game. You know, no Goran. So we kept it at 8 and just tried to be tight with it.
Talk about those second and third quarters. What was the difference to you and what changed after that hot start, as you mentioned?
Didn't defend. You know, we just weren't as, I think, combative.
I'm curious, with that, like, how are you able to sort of measure sort of the sustainability of your defense? Like, how can we play 48 minutes of defense come playoff time? Can we play 36, 24? Like, how do you see that going forward from what you saw tonight, where you came out strong, obviously defensively, but couldn't sustain it beyond, you know, the first 15 minutes?
You know, this is a new group, you know, played very few games together, so we're just looking for a little bit of improvement every day. That's it. So we can't get too carried away with reinventing the wheel, fixing the world's problems. We just got to chip away, get a little bit better every day. This is still, you know, training camp month for this team.
Steve, I got a couple for you. The first one is Andre this morning said both these games you felt like were must-wins. How much emphasis do you put on Sunday's game now, knowing that if you win, you're the 7th seed? Yeah,
I think that's what we're playing for, is to try to play at home and in the play-in game. So we definitely are aiming to get prepared to play on Sunday and win the game.
And the second part is, as a coach, how would you describe the luxury of being able to hand the ball to Kevin late and just say, win it for us? Well,
that's you know, that is the luxury of having, you know, one of the all-time great players. You know, he's been there before, and he's got the skill and poise to do it. You know, that's probably the most obvious answer I could give, but it's pretty true.
Steve, you talked about the will being a problem at times. I mean, how much does it concern you that, you know, given the stakes you guys are already playing with, it's still a bit of an issue? And, you know, does the stakes of the play-in and the playoffs maybe remedy some of that too when you guys get there?
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of factors. It's not just will all the time. It's like a lot of guys have played heavy minutes because we've had tons of injuries. We're, you know, missing key guys. We're missing starters and rotation players. So everyone's got to play more, and it puts a lot of pressure on our top two guys to play a lot of minutes. So that's a challenge for us, is how much effort they have to put forth. And sometimes we have pockets of the game where maybe we're not as good as others.
Is Goran still in Atlanta?
Goran's back, but he's not out of health and safety.
Given the extra workload that some guys have, given the injuries and guys being out, how much of a concern is it, the lapses that you've seen here and there on the floor? Is that a byproduct of the fatigue, if you will?
It's part of it. You know, like I said, I think, you know, guys have played a lot of minutes. And then there's the other part where they've played very few games together. So there might be a stretch of the game where, you know, we're not communicating at the best rate. We're not as familiar. We haven't been through this at the same time with this group. So, you know, we're also trying to learn each other and figure out what those little connections are and combinations are in different areas, both ends of the floor. Defensively, you know, that's underrated sometimes, is having played with a guy, know what he's good at, what he's not, where he needs help, where he doesn't, know what he's going to do on a certain action. And so part of that is in our growth going forward as well.
On offensive end, it's sort of the same thing, learning, you know, as a group. Does that go into play as far as dealing with double teams on Kevin, as far as, okay, he's going to pass the ball because that's what he does when he sees a double, And then where do you go from there? Do you feel like that is improving as you go on?
Yeah, I actually think we've played very well out of the double team the last month. Of course, you make an error here and there, but overall, Kevin's been great facilitating out of the double teams, and the ball moves. Allows the ball to move and find guys, and we're playing 4-on-3, and so I think our team's done a great job. Second half in New York, they doubled everything. Kevin and Kai, they moved the ball, and we created closeouts, 2-on-1s, drawing kicks. So I think they've done a really good job in that respect.
Coach, JB said earlier before the game that he could understand why teams at the top of the East might want to avoid you guys because you have Kevin and Kyrie, obviously, that maybe they might want to lose games intentionally to not match up with you in the first round. Do you feed into that at all, or do you even look at the top of the East and see who you might match up against at all?
Not really. I mean, I think we're so focused on trying to improve in a short period of time and get better every day that we're not in a position to start worrying about who, what, when. We just got to try to win this game tonight and the game on Sunday and then the play-in on Tuesday. Thanks, everybody.
8 in the third quarter, 6 in the fourth quarter. Just another